Okay, back we are. Time for commercial. So here's my book that I wrote, Knook Your Socks Off, available on Amazon.com. I also have a website. Go to socklet.ca. So that is socklet. You know, for those of us who are crazy about chocolate, I figured you love chocolate, you love socks, we have chocolate. So go there. I also have a Facebook page which is called Socklet, so find me there if you like. And my videos will be posted on there as well. Okay, here we go. I did my 7 centimeters. I'll show you of my cuff, not the cuff, the heel. So, 7 centimeters. So include the stitches on your needle. All right. So that's all done. I don't need this knitting needle anymore. You can put it aside until you do your next sock. My cuff, remember, is very short right now. If you wanted to make your sock cuff longer than what I have here, I hope you have done so. Just pause the video before you start knitting your heel. But let's now turn the heel. We're going to use the crochet needle. So now I'm going to transfer these stitches onto my red string. My red string is relatively long. I'm going to make it a little shorter. Transfer the stitches. There we go. Now we're going to leave this stretch B. We'll get to it later. We're going to take our stitches off the knitting needle. So you're going to knook them off. So right now the knitting needle is like the red string. So pick up your stitch in the same direction as if you were knitting. Do a yarn over, pull it through, slide your stitch off. See? Just transfer. Pick it up, slide it off. Pick it up, yarn over, slide it off. For all 8 stitches. Oops. When that happens, no worries, just finish. Let's do that again. My stitch slipped off the needle. You have it on your knook needle. Do a yarn over, pull it through. Here's my last stitch. Again. Put your knitting needle aside, you'll need it for your other sock. Transfer these 8 stitches to your string, and it should now look like this. Your string is over on this side. We're going to now pick up all these stitches here that are on the side of the heel you just knit. It will also now show you why you always slip the first stitch in knitting. When you do that, even if you like knitting and you make sweaters or other garments, when you slip your first stitch, you get a really nice edging here. It's like little V's, see that? And that makes for much easier pickup when you have to use that. So you're going to take your needle, pick up the first V, go through both. Don't do only one, do both. I've done one before, or the second one, it didn't matter which one. It doesn't make a difference for turning your heel. I just find that if you do both stitches, it just makes for a stronger connection. So pick it up, yarn over, pull it through. And do that with all of these stitches that you have sitting here. Oh, I split the yarn. I split the yarn in the process of crocheting it. So let the stitch come off your needle, pull the string out and start again. There I showed you one of the tricks on how to fix problems that are in the book. Here we go. As you can see, it is a very nice way of picking up the edge of your sock. Go all the way to the bottom. This is the last one. If you don't transfer yet, because we now have to decrease. Here's your red string. What you're going to do next, pick up the stitch on the string, yarn over, pull it through, but now also pull it through the last stitch you had still sitting on the needle. So now you have 2 stitches that sit here, but you're left with 1. So this is your decrease. Now I'm going to slide my stitches over, put them on the string. This is the regular work of your sock. You need to now decide if you want to work on a pattern for your sock. You can keep your knit 2, purl 2 going, or you can just knit. So let's just knit. So knit all the way around. So your purl stitches are now becoming a knit stitch. And whenever you feel the need, just transfer your stitches to the red string. You now know how to do that. If you're wondering, how do I know what size sock to make? I will show you after we turn the heel. Okay, I'm going to transfer. Out it comes. I'll lengthen it on this side, which now is a little bit more trickier because you have more stitches sitting on your needles, right? Or on your string. So be careful. Don't pull too hard and too fast. I have 6, 7 stitches left. See how this is really short now? So I'm going to be careful picking it up. If you want to know what to do when the stitches slide off your string, go get my book, Amazon.com. Now, if you happen to live close to where I live, you can buy it right from me. Okay, here we go. We're at the end. See? Now we have this to do. However, this is the other side of your sock where your heel is, so we have to decrease on this corner also. So keep the stitches on because you're going to need the first stitch here. Pick up the first V formation you have from knitting the heel, yarn over, pull it through the other stitch, and now you've done. You have 2 stitches sitting here, but you made 1 out of them. Go all the way up, picking up your nice formed stitches that happen when you slip off your first one. And if you wonder why you had to knit the knee heel in a slip 1, knit 1, slip 1, knit 1, that actually is a stitch formation that strengthens the heel here, which often is the part of the sock that wears out the fastest. I don't have to remove the string here because I didn't have it there, but I am transferring my stitches to the string now, and we're back to where we were. So you have extra stitches sitting here, which also means that your string that you're working off from is slightly shorter, but just for the time being. Okay, we're going back to doing the short end here where your 8 stitches are. Just go around. So you're going to work your way around, and each time you get to these 2 corners, you have to decrease. How can you remember where to decrease? I will show you. So now this stitch here is very tight. See that? Because the string has been pulling it and it's going to be harder to pick it up. That happens. It doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Doesn't mean there's a faulty part in your sock. These things just are a natural cause and effect of nooking your socks. Using the thick wool here, it has not been as big of a problem as when you use very thin wool, just so that you know. All right, I'm going to transfer just before I get to the corner. Pull this out, lengthen it now or later. I can do it now, it's nice and smooth. This just happens to be very silky string that I'm using, which helps. I am 3 stitches away from the corner, and my red string is wanting to get out. Here we go. Saved by the bell. I nooked my 3 stitches. Now we're back at the corner. How can you tell? You can feel it. It's a little bumpy. And you can also see, which is maybe harder with the thicker wool, that this is where you decrease. So you go to the decreased stitch, which is the 1 of 2, which now becomes your focal point or where you do your next decrease. So yarn through and pick up this stitch. So on one side of the sock you decrease going down, but your decreasing your sock is actually going up, and on the other side it's the opposite, and I'll show you that when we get there. So continue on. We have now done 2 decreases on this side. And we have to do it again, obviously, on the other side. If you like working with thicker wool socks, I suggest you use the thicker wool like this. Is worsted 5 and crocheted with needle 5. I suggest you use this thick wool for slipper socks. I don't know how comfortable these socks in this thick of a wool would be when you wear them in shoes, unless of course you wear shoes that are a size bigger, but I don't know if that's going to feel quite nice. So it's an option. For thicker wool socks that you want to wear in shoes, I suggest you use worsted 4. Okay, I am back here. I finished going around. Here's my double stitch. You can feel it, you can see it. Knook it. Knook the following stitch, because now you're going up the heel. See that? So you pick up first and then knook the next and pull through both. So when you go up the heel, you crochet the second stitch. When you go down the heel, it's the opposite around. Opposite. And we're going to keep this running for a few more rounds so that you can see what it looks like as you are turning your heel. I'm going to transfer again. Okay, so this is longer. I don't have much room here. I'm going to see if I can pull it. No, it's too tight because it's all the way around. If I were to keep pulling, which you can, somewhere along here, your stitches are going to suffer and they're going to sit really tight on your work. And then you end up having those stitches that sit on your string, and you have to fill with it to knook it, which happened earlier, remember? So then you just go in the middle somewhere, as I just did, shorten this end, lengthen that end, and then you have room again to keep going. The beauty of doing a video, and for those of you watching, you can stop it and replay, stop it and replay, right? Now when you do watch my videos and you come up with questions, feel free to connect with me on my Facebook page Socklet or on my webpage. I can tell you that when I started knooking socks 7 years ago, I knooked socks for about 2 years, and I made sock after sock after socks. Some of them I still have, like the yellow pair I showed you. A lot of other ones I either sold or they were worn out. So it took me 2 years before I decided to actually write things down. And I am pleased to say that when I started out knooking socks to what I am doing now, things haven't changed too much. So if you do this, catch on and think, you know what, I just discovered this or that, tell me. I would love to hear from you. Here we are all the way around again. Okay, so this string is not wanting to cooperate. Here's where I have been decreasing. You can now clearly see it. I need to stitch before I decrease, so make sure you always have, when you transfer, you always have that stitch available. Knook it, knook the decreased stitch, yarn through both. All right, go all the way around to the next, or to the other side. What you want, okay, so here's a good thing. As you can see, I'm picking up a very slight strand of the underlying previous stitch there. I don't want that. So I took my needle out, pick up the stitch, bypass this little fluffy thing, and go on my way. When you work with thicker yarn, thinner yarn is not so much so, but when you work with thicker yarn, it's very easy to split the yarn as you're picking up your stitch. There's two things you can do. You can just, suppose I did it with this stitch. I didn't like what I did. Take it off the needle, undo it, and you're back to here. You didn't drop a stitch, nothing happens. That's the beauty of knooking. You can start over. Or suppose something went wrong over here and you want to fix it. You can either fix it in the next round, which is more of a job to do. All you need to do is take your needle out of your stitches. Okay, let's stop here. Pull your string. Voila. Your problem is solved. Your stitches are still on the string, and you can continue on and fix the problem you had, or don't do the problem you had in the first place, and continue on. Easy, isn't it? For more difficult problems, guess what I'm going to be saying now? Get my book. One exciting thing that I am working on now is my second book, because I have also discovered how you can knook socks from the toe up, and it's really amazing. Slightly different technique, slightly different ways of achieving the same thing, simply because it's, okay, now see, it's so smooth now I can pull it all through. You're kind of working backwards, right? If we're going from the cuff down here, from the toe up, it's going backwards, which affects how you turn the heel, which I didn't know initially, so that was a learning curve for me. We are now, here's the junction to the corner, so this is where we decreased. Knit this stitch, knook, I should really say knook, knook this one, knook the next one, and through both. All right. So with knooking socks toe up, basically everything is the same. The turning the heel is also the same. However, things are in a reversed order, but I like it. And I'm going to hopefully put a book together. So this book I have here, Knook Your Socks Off, is plainly how to knook a sock, just what the video is showing here. It doesn't give you graphs or sheets and sheets of how many stitches to use, with what size of sock, with what size of wool and what size of needle. It is just pure and plainly how to knook a sock. I know that a lot of other books that teach about sock knitting, they have the detailed information on all of that, and I did not do that. Neither do I have pages and pages of all the different stitches and how to do each stitch step by step. My book has tons and tons of pictures. I'll quickly leaf through it when we're done this part to show you. But my new book, Socks from the Toe Down, is going to give a bit more information. So I'm going to have lots of different socks, and I will write down the size of the wool and the needle and how many stitches you need and all of that with a bit more detail. Because by then, say you go for that book and that system as well, you don't need to learn how to knook anymore. So it's going to be, it will have more info, and I'm also going to include perhaps some toys you can make for children and other projects. Although this book, Knook Your Socks Off, does give you one project in which you can make fingerless gloves and baby socks, and how to make a cowl. But the cowl is just explaining it, not doing it. So, but it's simple, because making a cowl is just doing your cuff, but you just have way and way more stitches, right? So that's very straightforward. We're back to the corner. Here you decrease, save the stitch in front, knook it, knook this one, and then string through both. Correct? So now that I have shown you 4 times how to decrease your stitches for turning the heel, you're going to keep doing this until you have 30 stitches back on your string. You can go around and around and count each time. you can just keep going, which is what I'm going to do, and then check occasionally to see if I'm almost there. Transfer again. So for instance, let's see how many stitches I have now. So I know I'm not done yet because I know my I can't talk, my heel hasn't turned. So I'm going to go by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I have 43 stitches left. I just turned the heel over there. So let's go to the next one. So I have 40. Did I say 40? Yeah, I have 43 stitches left. So we'll go to this heel. I'm going to post this video, these few videos really, on my webpage and most likely on YouTube as well. So I hope you'll find me either way. I'm back at the corner. Knit the stitch before. Do this one, which is your decreased spot. Pick up the next stitch and decrease. So we now went from 33 stitches to from 43 stitches to 32 stitches. I need to have a total of only 30, which means I have 12 more stitches that are extra, which means that I have to do 6 more rounds to decrease 12 stitches because you're doing 2 in each round, correct? So I want you to do that. Go do your 6 more rounds, and then when you're done, we'll meet again.